Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. By Deadlights.
Oh, this is Deadlights.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your other host, Leslie, bringing you your weekly dose of horror, everybody.
And dose of magic.
And a little splash
Might
of
I,
magic.
Might I say we are adding some magic to this episode?
Oh, why? Why do you say that, Sam?
Because I think we just watched Magic.
Yeah. Does anybody know it?
From 1978, directed by Richard Attenborough and written by William Goldman. A ventriloquist is at the mercy of his vicious dummy while he tries to renew a romance with his high school sweetheart.
Oh, and does he?
Yeah.
Does he do that?
Yeah. So, just overview,
Mm-hmm.
real quick. This is our first evil demonic toy movie that we've had on
that
the
is true.
podcast, which, you know, Chucky and I'm trying to think of other evil doll
Yeah.
movies. I think there's actually a movie called Dolls.
Oh, yeah. Annabelle.
Annabelle.
You know,
Classic. Dolls are creepy.
classic. Absolutely. Because, like, the thought of a demonic spirit possessing a very innocent looking thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
before these horror movies were puppets. Puppets? Were puppets scary?
I mean, I think they were supposed to be more like entertainment and like almost children toys.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like clowns.
Mhm.
Clowns, too, were another thing. Puppet clowns is another thing.
That's another class of horror.
Oh,
Super
absolutely.
scary.
Apparently, those puppets, those vintage puppets, go for a lot.
I'm sure they do.
A lot.
They're very intricate. Intricate.
Intricate.
Intricate. But
Puppets.
yeah, and then you're right. You attach this kind of evil demonic force to it with malicious intents, and also this idea that it is a doll, so you can't really kill it
Yeah.
because it's not exactly living. That, I think, adds to the horror of evil toys too.
And because our main character is a ventriloquist. Okay, I said it right. Nailed it. We don't know who it what is this
Him?
mental disorder.
Mhm.
Not to like, you know.
No, they're definitely playing with that though.
Yeah.
That was definitely a question.
So I guess we can jump right in.
Let's get into it. Let's
Let's
get to the-
open can.
Oh yeah.
Can.
Licking. And the actual filmmaking, I mean, just from the top, we got to say we're
Make a Trump.
bringing it up.
Make it.
We are in the 70s, so we're getting the classic, you know, shot on film, pretty colors,
Yeah.
nice reds popping, and nice cool blues.
Lots of close-ups with the filtered kind of thing for the women.
Mhm.
Very pretty, very soft.
Yes.
Flowers everywhere.
It felt somewhat at times, especially during the beginning, we even commented on it, rom-com-y, very almost after school special like,
Yes.
with its softness and kind of with the hookiness of some of the lines and the acting at points. It felt a little bit like that, which is okay. You know, it kind of adds, it lends itself to that.
Yeah. I can see where, not to like just directly attach another Anthony Hopkins movie, but I feel like Silence of the Lambs really did borrow a lot of its aesthetic for the film based on these kind of movies in the 70s, where everything was shot like very much like beautiful. I do want to say that Silence of the Lambs did definitely carry it a little bit better, but I think it's a little bit older of a film, and once you've seen a couple of these films, you can then start taking the elements that you like as a director, filmmaker,
And that's what,
and
13 years later too.
yeah,
The evolution. We've gone through an entire decade.
Exactly.
So it's cool that we have an actor that we've seen so recently on the podcast and now see
a younger version of him.
version, more than a decade before. It's really cool to see the similarities and differences in his performance and in the filmmaking. And you know what? There was some very cool, first of all, like tableaus that they had in this film.
Mhm.
A lot of play with shadows and silhouettes.
Yes.
We saw mirror shots a lot too, and literally with a mirror, but also shots that were mirroring each other that involved Anthony Hopkins and the dummy.
Yeah.
And we saw there was a shot of Anthony Hopkins with this intense silhouette behind him, and then later we saw almost that exact same shot of the dummy with this intense silhouette of himself behind him. They were the same.
Looked like an actual man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Creepy.
And I loved how they were playing with the fact that it is a dummy and it doesn't move, but we also came into this film knowing that this is about an evil dummy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're expecting it to move. We're waiting for it.
We're waiting for it. We're so ready to have this Chucky motherfucker coming over and just start killing.
Mm-hmm.
And the dummy is well done. I don't like puppets. They're creepy.
Fat is creepy.
Yeah, and especially the ones that look like a human being.
Mm-hmm. And in this movie, it became more and more looking like a human being, and at the end was dressing in the exact same clothes as Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, they were merging.
Mm-hmm. They were doing a great job of making him feel more and more like a
human
person.
Especially because his clothes would also change.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to get into story time.
Let's get into some story time.
Just a little story time. I'm not sure if I've told this on the podcast, but there was a Halloween that my best friends and I went in, we did Halloween together, just the three of us. And we came across this house that had a person, like the person that lives there, I guess. maybe they were they're at their neighbor's house. No, but she was holding a bucket of candy, and then right next to her was a very life-size dummy with a mask on. And she was like, "Don't worry." I was really afraid. I was like, "No," because although I love watching scary movies, going to haunted places, haunted anything is very, very terrifying for me. And so I was like, "No, that's actually a person." And she was like, "No, it's a dummy. It's just it's a stuffed dummy." And then I looked at their feet, and the dummy was wearing socks. And I pointed it out. I was like, "Who takes the time to put socks on a dummy?" And they started laughing. They started moving and laughing. And she was like, "Just take your candy." And I just went over, grabbed my candy, and ran away because
busted.
Yeah, they started running after me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just looking to try to scare this kid.
But you know what I'm saying? So no one takes as much care with that kind of oh, I'm gonna dress up my dummy with a different set of clothes every day.
Yeah,
unless it's possessed.
Right. And I think that this kind of perfectly transitions us into talking about Anthony Hopkins' performance in this movie specifically, because his character is taking such care of this dummy and this doll, and
his Anthony Hopkins' character's name. What was he?
Corky. Yeah.
Corky.
Yeah.
That was his name. I didn't even. It didn't even stick.
Corky. There were some odd names in this.
Oh, yeah.
Corky and his dummy Fats. What was great, I think, about his performance was for the majority of the movie, don't know if he's actually insane. If he is killing everybody and he's the only one that thinks that this thing is alive, or if the dummy's actually alive.
Mm-hmm.
And there was times in the movie when I was going back and forth of like, oh shit, like the big reveal is going to be the dummy wasn't alive at all ever. And oh no, the dummy is alive. Oh, no, wait,
No,
he's just crazy.
Yeah.
He was doing a great job of
Well done. Teetering. And also, I still don't know if Anthony Hopkins was actually talking for Fats, because there would be a lot of times where it appeared he wasn't, because he was doing other physicalities and stuff like that. And I believe Anthony Hopkins is of that talent to be able to carry on his own physicality for his character and be putting on this voice, because there'd be close-ups and where sometimes his throat would move, but if he wasn't the one making the voice, that's still a requirement, like adding even more to make it seem like he is. There were so many layers to his acting.
And that the ventriloquist stuff was incredible, like those details. But then he's also a magician, so the hand movements that he had to learn as well as a magician, he clearly was doing the stuff with the cards, moving it very impeccably, and like he had the sleight of hand. So
he had to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That in itself, because I was like, okay, are we just going to see this actor in his, not prime and still learning, and it would be like, okay, not the best, but he's gotten better with the movies that I know them from. No, he's always been really good.
He was already there when we started the movie.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of new kind of very experimental things that they're trying out in the late 70s that I don't think do him justice. There were some scenes I thought could have been done a little bit better, but I understand what they're trying to carry on. And because they have an excellent performer, it definitely adds. I think if he wasn't that strong of a character, we would have lost a lot of information, because there's a lot of lingo that I couldn't quite understand. I don't know. What did you feel about that?
Like so much fast talking too. Like because the dummy's voice is kind of supposed to be quippy, and he's always supposed to be kind of a circusy
very
kind
like
of guy.
50s kind of like, hey, bow.
Hello, everybody. This is Mrs. Norman Maine. My mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you. You have nothing to fear but fear itself, nothing to give but blood, sweat, and tears, nothing to lose but your chains. Here he is, boys. Here he is, world. Here is Fat!
And everyone was talking fast too. It felt like the pace of the movie as far as the dialogue was super, super fast. But you're right, because his performance was so strong, we understood what he was going through without him even having to say anything about it, any dialogue about it. It didn't even matter. We could follow what was going on.
With his character, yes.
With his character.
I really enjoyed the scenes with him and the puppet. I thought those were standalone, amazing. But scenes with him and the girl...
Peg.
There were times that I did not understand what she said.
After all, he is my consort, my spouse. I'm very big on enlarging my vocabulary.
It was really hard. Or I don't understand why they kept that scene. Like, why didn't they do another take? Because some of the pronunciations were not done well.
Yes, like I said, it felt very fast, like we're blowing through it at some of these times.
Yeah.
And also, there were moments, I think this goes back to the script, where her emotional points, like there was no bridges, it felt like, between some emotions that she had. It felt like her character was a little all over the place, because I think they were just trying to fit her within the love interest of the character, servicing the needs of Anthony Hopkins' story, really. And everything that she was doing was more just a device to tell his story.
Yeah. I mean,
she was a very weak character, I think all around.
And that's the thing with these movies from
sure.
the past
Yeah.
is that the female characters are not drawn out well. They're not written well. They don't have a spectrum of emotions. They're just going along, you know.
It's his story.
And at the end, for her character journey, it made her kind of just as crazy.
Yeah, she seemed crazy. She seemed dumb by the end. I'm like, are you kidding?
Aloof, at least.
Yeah.
It
really did not service female representation at all.
Because there was a clear sin. Not that they did it.
There were some sins.
There was some sins done because she's married. Did we say that? She's fucking married, never takes her ring off.
No.
But where he just loses it.
Shuffle the goddamn cards fast. Gonna do it right this time. Just know we will, because we both want it enough.
Should I think now?
Yes, very hard.
I am.
You're not. I can tell by your eyes you're not.
Well, I'm frightened is why.
Nothing to be afraid of.
If it goes bad.
It won't go bad, not if two people want something as much as this. There must be nothing in your mind but your card.
That was when we both looked at each other and we're like, no, kick him out.
He's fucking crazy.
She's like empathetic and was like, oh, okay, let's like finish your magic trick. Sorry, I messed up. It was me.
After he freaks out, screaming at her, sweating, getting the trick right, she gets on her knees in front of him and kisses his hand. Like this very servicey, like you said,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
And that is when like the tone of it became that much of a like violins and be like.
And then we transitioned into their sex scene, which felt so unnatural. Like I was like, how are we just going from her definitely wanting to kick you out because you're insane and a maniac to her being in bed with you? It felt like there was just maybe a scene or two that we were missing to just, again, there's like these bridges like that I'm talking about, these transition scenes of people going through a change, and we can tell them simply, and they're already doing things creatively, cinematically. Like, so I know that they have the capacity to tell us things creatively. We're just missing like tiny bits of information.
I wonder if they were edited out. Like if they actually did shoot them and they were like, nah, this makes too much sense.
Just cut to it. Just get to the dummy shit, which I do understand because that is what this movie is about. This isn't really about a man's rise to fame. It's about his unraveling.
His magic.
And his magic.
Yeah. His magic to absolutely lose it.
He's good at that magic.
He's so great at that.
Well, why don't we get to what this movie's actually talking about? Let's get to
the meats. Let's make tacos out of these.
Yummy.
Yummy. Taco sounds good, though.
Tacos do sound good. Carne. Well, I think we're dealing with a couple different things here. At the beginning, it definitely seems like we're dealing with what you're willing to do for fame and what you're willing to give up to become famous and quote unquote successful. Because he was in that first scene, he like pretty much told his mentor that he was the best. And his mentor was like, yeah, you are the best. You deserve to be.
Don't forget me when you become famous.
And he was frustrated. Anthony Hopkins' character was frustrated that he wasn't getting that recognition. He knew he was the best and he knew that he deserved to be put on the next level. But no one else could recognize it. In that scene that you kind of already talked about, people are literally have their backs to him, not even paying attention to him. He's invisible. So there's already this like innate thing in him that I think he thinks he deserves to be famous. And then he's found this opportunity to get fame. And the question is, how much of himself is he actually willing to give up to get that fame and fortune?
I mean, I think he knows because he refuses to get an exam.
I don't think I'm going to take the medical exam.
Any particular reason?
Principal.
The hell does that mean, principle?
Red flags. I
Super
mean,
red.
I also would have if I was the agent who loved his long ass cigars and throwing the glass tube against the wall.
Was that common practice? Because he just did it.
He just did it and no one said a goddamn thing. Now there's some broken glass by the wall that you're going to have to clean because this asshole.
The first time he did it was in his office, and I was like, okay, that's
He's
really
frustrated.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
But you can throw shit in your own office. That's fine. But then to do it in not only not Anthony Hopkins' place, but a random person that he doesn't even know's cabin, just
fucking chucks it because Anthony Hopkins is renting that space.
Yeah.
It's an Airbnb. And he just comes in, gets his cigar while it's an intense moment, actually, for us. Actually, I really like this scene.
me too.
Name it.
Make Fat shut up for 5 minutes.
How long so far?
Here's 30 seconds.
Gosh, that's 4.5 minutes to go. Think I'll make it?
There was like a couple of these scenes that were they used the silences very well to fill the tension. There was this one. There was definitely the card trick scene where he was trying to get the card trick right with
And
Peg.
like read her mind.
And like there was just a lot of silence going on, and you're just wondering who's gonna break it, who's gonna snap. And then there was another one, when they're waiting to see if Duke comes back, her husband.
Oh my gosh.
Long silences of people just sitting, walking around, filling glasses, and it just is making us sit there and think like, okay, what's gonna happen?
What's going to happen?
What's gonna happen next?
I mean, we know he's gone.
Duke is definitely dead.
Did.
No.
And also, his death is when we find out the dummy doesn't need cork to move him.
No. I mean, within scenes, we're talking about them being able to, like, pull out tension and stuff within a scene, but they're pulling out tension within this entire movie because, for the most part, we're asking ourselves, is the dummy alive or is Anthony Hopkins crazy? We're asking ourselves, who's actually in control here? And they don't reveal it for so long. And even when they do reveal it, when Duke and him are quote unquote alone in the cabin, there is still that question of, but was there something else magic going on in there? Was it? And even at the end too, when Anthony Hopkins dies and the dummy is dying with him, the dummy says, I was always you.
Us was you. What? It was you all the time.
Even if the dummy was doing it himself, it seems like it was still a part of Corky in some way, no matter what.
Yeah.
It was a part of his personality, maybe, that he separated and put in this dummy to give it life or something.
I mean, I'm not a psychologist and I don't deem to know everything about schizophrenia, but it definitely was playing with themes as schizophrenia or some form of dissociative disorder, maybe DID, but like in a physical form of him putting a part of him in a dummy because he knows that he can't do it alone because he is too. I mean, Anthony Hopkins, I mean, I said it from the beginning. I have never seen him play a meek character. He seems so tiny in comparison to fucking Dr. Hannibal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The way he like squared up for that particular character of just like absolutely being not open. He was open because he was unafraid.
Yeah.
This one, he was closed off all the time because he is afraid. He is walking around the world knowing that he's never good enough.
Always trying to prove himself.
Yeah.
Never felt good enough.
And needing to.
Needing
it.
Needing it really bad. And now on top of it, he's got this homicidal dummy that he's got to deal with. So, yeah. Wow. It's I love that they have this moment too that goes back to this idea of control.
Say thank you, Fats. Thanks, Fats. With feeling like I do. I feel the straight of fucking too.
Hey, you got talent after all. Let's see what else you can do. Fats his smile.
Fats his frown. Fats his touch the ceiling. Fats his spin around. Fats his get a knife.
And then the question is like, okay, who's the dummy here? Who's the puppet and who's the master? And that was the scene, I think, where I was like, oh man, like you're not in control at all.
Also, I'm just gonna go back to the fucking acting. That was incredible.
That was like
Who's in control?
I was gonna say that was creepy and like unhinged and sad.
I mean, oh boy. I was scared. I was truly afraid. It was such a performance. Very 70s performance of like he was smashing his face against a mirror so hard.
Like for real hard.
For real hard.
Yeah.
And although I do not think method acting, like don't hurt yourself, please, for any role or entertainment. If you're gonna throw yourself, without hurting yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like he looked like he was getting his face smashed into the mirror without breaking it. It's just that enough pressure for his nose to just be like absolutely twisted. It was great.
It was great.
I'm glad that you brought up that because I wanted to talk about that scene.
I wasn't expecting that scene. I really wasn't. Like for it to go full flip and the dummy was pulling the strings.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I thought it was just going to be like maybe another scene of them just like sitting down and talking to each other. But no, we got a little bit more of like, because like Anthony Hopkins was like we saw him maybe losing it. If we're going to really go and say it was just Anthony Hopkins' character making this whole thing up, he is losing his marbles. Absolutely showing no holdbacks.
Yeah,
at all.
He's full crazy, full on.
Oh,
crazy.
he's going at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you murder one person, you murder another, and another. And then yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to kill the other person.
Of course.
Because that's your love. I've always loved you, Peg.
Yeah, he was on a
I've always dreamed of pegging you, Peg.
All right. Speaking of her, I think we should probably get to the cook of this thing. Because, yes, these themes, loved them. Loved a lot of them. But there were some, how they presented some of these things were a little sus. You know, a little sus. Like we kind of already mentioned, the pace at the beginning felt like so fast that it was a little hard to get our bearings.
Whiplash. Just blah.
Okay, just get us to the fucking cabin. That's fine because
Yeah.
that's when everything started to become good. And then also how they presented Peg. I think that how they wrote her was just unfair and without very much thought, and she seemed very unrealistic. Just like all the emotional
Not
like,
a real person.
peaks and valleys was just like, where are you coming from? You don't seem real.
No.
Yeah.
And towards the end, like the last fucking scene.
Here we go.
Oh my God. She comes out after the revealment of Quark he sacrificed himself.
Yeah. Because the
Um,
dummy actually commanded Quark to go kill Peg.
Yeah.
And he was right outside of her door, standing there with the knife, looking like he was about to freaking kill her.
Oh yeah.
But then he sacrifices himself, stabs
Mhm.
himself, and he dies.
And he
in his
dies
cabin.
next to
Fats.
Fats.
Fade away out the window.
Hey,
And then here comes Peg.
Hey, it's me. I changed my mind. Let's give it a whack, okay? See how it goes? I'm warning you, Clark. Don't play hard to get with me, because I'm a woman, see, and I can always change my mind again.
You may not get this opportunity tomorrow.
and we freeze frame on the heart up in the sky moving.
In the air, like in motion. It's
In
very
motion.
blurred.
Made no sense.
I actually thought my computer had glitched, and I was like, "Wait, oh, they really ended?"
Yeah,
it like
and then
that?
the credits roll up. We're left with that awful freeze frame of a wooden heart in motion. It was so terrible, and I hated the scene of her coming out.
Awful.
It should have been left out. It should have just
Right.
faded away and us not knowing what happened.
Like they had the perfect opportunity to end the movie with the dolly shot out of the window. Da-na-na-na,
Did he
fade
kill her?
away.
Did he not? Did he sacrifice himself to not kill her? What happened?
More questions that I'm fine with leaving open.
But no, we had to know that he was at least decent enough to not kill his crush.
To me, I didn't need that because I already assumed that.
Absolutely.
Him stabbing himself was enough of a sacrifice for me to think, oh, he didn't kill her.
Made her appear cuckoo bananas
It also did that too.
because
Yeah.
she came out and then she started talking, like mimicking Fatso. Because, that's another thing. Apparently, he couldn't do it without Fatso. He couldn't go up to her door to try to kill her and lure her out if it weren't Fats.
True.
I called him Fatso.
That's fine.
Fats. And then when they're both having that scene of them dying, Anthony Hopkins' character Quark keeps like they're having this debate essentially of like who was in charge, and Fats was like, "It was you all this time," and he was like, "No, it was you because I couldn't even lure her out of the room." And then we're left in this like, well, who goes out first? Who dies first? Is it Fats or is it Quark?
Yeah.
You know? And then the dummy says, I just hope I don't die first.
He's the one who's scared of being alone.
That line I was like, oh my God.
Because in that
Oh my
moment, in the dying moment, the dummy realized he was nothing without Quark too. Because who's the one who's like moving him around, moving his mouth, and they depended on each other.
Oh God.
And then we had to go and ruin it.
With this fucking scene of her tossing the stupid. I mean, there was another line that I liked that he was like, I left her my heart. I was like, okay. But please. Freeze frame.
And also, like, if if there's one thing that a movie can do to make us dislike it, it's freeze frame at the end like that.
Freeze frame on a blurry, stupid shot. You're telling me you spend money to make that shot and leave us there?
It looked like balls
Fuck
hanging
you.
in the sky. It look all ball sacks hanging up there. I'm just might as well have been. I don't.
Oh my God.
That was frustrating.
It
Yeah, because
was-
they had a good ending, like with the two.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
cool,
Wow.
nice.
Okay.
Wait, who's that?
No.
No.
No. No.
Stop.
Stop it.
Roll the
Please.
credits.
Roll.
Stop.
That could have been something that would have been great. Pull out from, them dying, and then the credits start rolling. There's just, excuse me, there's just the music coming about. She comes out and is like playing with it. We don't do any close-ups. We keep panning out and her getting smaller, walking towards,
Honestly, that's what I thought I thought she was gonna go through the door and discover him.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That
Her
would've been way
just
better.
like having a moment there. We're still credits. She makes her way to the Airbnb, discovers them dead, and then having that moment, and then we're still panning out until we can't see because there's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
That would have been a beautiful fucking ending. But we're not there yet, I guess.
It would have avoided us having to hear her fucking deliver these
Stupid
dumbass
lines. I am
lines
so sorry.
that
Maybe you are a fantastic
were
actress, and I'm sorry they just don't care.
Yeah, it just was nothing. There was
Maybe.
nothing there.
I don't know.
Please just make the smart decision, and they didn't.
They didn't. Freeze
Oh,
frame.
freeze- Ready? Here we go. You can rate this podcast low for that.
Absolutely.
We would.
Please just, and if you are not seeing this on YouTube, we freeze framed.
We freeze
Yep.
framed. Oh, sorry for
Yeah.
listeners. Yeah, we freeze framed. You missed it. All right, let's get to the thrill of this thing, which I think we should talk about two people in this movie. Let's first talk about Fats.
Fats.
Our scary dummy.
It's scary.
I mean, we kind of already talked about it at the beginning about what inherently makes these dolls / toys creepy is the fact that they are inherently supposed to be innocent, but we attach something evil to it, and we don't know what it's capable of. Like we always do.
Yeah.
How they're shooting Fats is very strategic because they're leaving us on shots of him without Anthony Hopkins, and he's not moving, but we're waiting for him to move because we expect that he's this evil demonic thing
Until we do.
until we do see him
Un-
later. And it's so well done where it could still not be him. And there's that shot too of him through the window when Anthony Hopkins is going out in the boat and he's just not moving, but he looks
Oh my God.
he looks like he's just watching Anthony Hopkins go out.
I hope you put some of the clips because haunting.
Creepy. And that's the thing, is like they don't have to move that doll to make it creepy.
No.
It's already creepy.
Shadows
sitting
and
there.
lighting.
Mhm.
That is all you need.
That's all I did. It was great.
Those shots were absolutely terrifying and like you mentioned, literally I'm repeating exactly what you're saying. Absolutely well done.
We also have Anthony Hopkins. Corky's like kind of unhinged, and he's a definite scary part about this movie because for the majority of the movie, we don't know if he's the one that if it's him or the dummy that we need to actually fear. And he has these scenes where he's flying off the handles that reminds us that he's fucking crazy and he might snap at any time.
Yeah, he is losing it. And I mean, that in itself is crazy. Again, we are not only applying a puppet, which is like scary, but we're also having our monster be just someone who is a manipulator, a narcissist, perhaps, that he just like thinks he can. He is a psycho. He thinks that he absolutely can get away with it,
And that he deserves
and yeah,
fame, and we know he's capable of lying.
he
lies
absolutely
all the time.
he has no remorse
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
He is just worried about himself, making sure that no one knows that he's actually crazy. Oh my God. That is terrifying. Scary.
And he's still on top, like all of that we know. And at the end, we still have a moment of like, oh, for him. We have empathy for him and we have sympathy for him because we're like, oh, he just wanted to be loved.
He wanted to be loved and wanted to be able to make it. But also he wasn't willing to like admit that he needed help.
Mm-mm.
He could have absolutely had both. Had the fame and a emotional stability by taking maybe pills if he was diagnosed with something, you know?
Well, and for all that talk in the beginning of him saying, I know I'm the best and I know that I deserve to be in the limelight, it's clear that he actually doesn't believe that because he uses this tool, aka the dummy, as a crutch for his fame. So he actually doesn't think that he by himself is good enough to be famous. It's all about when he finally has this shtick to lean on is when he's finally quote unquote confident enough to be famous. I think that we're finally pulling into the ride.
Beep beep.
Which is the overall ride of this film. And going into this movie, I think I'm going to out you, Leslie. You did say, are you ready for this movie to be lame? Which I get. You know, we're about to go into a killer doll movie.
Yeah.
And very easily can turn lame.
Mm-hmm.
I would say definitely some lame parts of this movie. But overall, I was actually very entertained.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that because the performances of Anthony Hopkins specifically was so good, and it was presented in a little different of a way than I thought it was going to be, more of this kind of like psychological mystery of going on of like, is it him? Is it the doll? And also the shots were very, very pretty. I was pretty entertained through the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. There were the scenes that we've talked about that were truly awful.
Truly awful.
But maybe we can now see, you know, that those scenes could have been written better, edited better, something different to get a different, you know, perspective, and help the story be guided a little bit better. But yeah, I was actually surprised that I liked it more than I thought that I would.
Yeah.
Because, again, majority of the scenes were Anthony Hopkins being an amazing actor. And I still want to know, was he talking for the damn doll? Was it? And I love that. I love that kind of like, who was it? Who was it? What was that?
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, it's the 70s. We have a lot of just kind of convoluted rom-coms throughout any genre. That kind of is what's the selling point. And obviously the sex scene. God damn, like, ugh, it was lame. Lame
sex scene. And creepy doll interspliced in the sex scene, by the way.
Oh my God, yeah. He was just like,
he's listening.
Ooh. But yeah,
and also kind of going to that point of like thinking about this movie within the decade. We're in the 70s. It's very slasher heavy. It's a lot of killers running around in masks and that kind of stuff. I think this is probably one of the earlier evil toy kind of movies that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
At least that come out in my mind. Because later we get Chucky, obviously, and all that other stuff. But
maybe like 20 years later, 10 years,
Mhm.
like about 10 years.
About 10 years later. And so it feels like they're doing something a little different within the genre at this time.
I think you're right. I mean, if anything, Chucky definitely did borrow a lot of aspects and like edits, like scenes, for sure.
Absolutely, because Child's Play is so much about the evil doll using the fact that its owner is a child against him, in the way of the 5-year-old kid is telling people that his doll is talking and killing people, and the adults automatically dismiss him. Just like in Magic, people are automatically dismissing Anthony Hopkins because he has this mental breakdown or whatever. So yeah, you're right. There's clearly things that they're taking inspiration from in Magic and taking it to Child's Play, which is cool to see.
And also, like, it's coming from a time where I think we're barely starting to understand and accept that, you know, there are mental disorders out there. We need help. We need to talk about things. And, you know, psychology is really being given a time to shine and just let people be able to be open up. Like, he was so scared of being told that he's crazy, to the point of actually doing things that are crazy, which is murder.
Right.
You know, him talking to himself doesn't make him crazy. But who knows if he actually was going to be sent to a psychologist. Usually during that time, people were shoved into just mental institutions for, you know, I heard stories that people who smoked weed were taken to mental institutions because you know, smoking weed was demonized and was, you know, not something that we can do now. But yeah,
And this movie is a little bit ahead of its time. It's talking about mental illness. It's at least showing a character being doubted because of a mental illness, which is unfair.
And
when he actually has something going on.
And there were people that kind of just, like, you know, accepted that. Like, they allowed him to be in their space with the doll and talking with the doll, as probably a way for him to be able to socialize.
Cope with it, whatever he's dealing with.
They loved the performance, although we didn't understand it. It wasn't quite translating.
People fucking love the ventriloquist shit.
They do.
Every time I brought him into a room, you and I were like, that's fucking creepy, but everyone else is eating that shit
But
up.
look, what if that was Jeff Dunham? I know everybody don't like him anymore,
Fair.
but like at the height of his like comedy, he's still going at it. There's some diehard fans. So at the prime, when like YouTube was a brand new thing and his videos were going viral and shit like that, what if he just came into your kitchen with a doll and started talking, you know, like doing a bit or whatever, quote unquote?
That's fair. I think we would all be like, oh, that's awesome.
That's so cool. Hi, jalapeno. Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
Yes. I forgot about him.
Oh, he's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the skeleton.
The skeleton. Oh, boy.
Problematic.
We're really just like, it's a picture of the early 2000s.
Holy
right
shit. If he just stuck to Walter, the old man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't do any accents. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Sorry, Jeff. But
yeah,
I
Jeff.
do understand your point, though, of like the notoriety of this guy, of Corky. Yeah, if he walked into a room and had a puppet, we would be like, oh, that's fucking sick. Oh, that's
so
awesome.
funny.
That's funny.
But
but Peg loved it.
Peg was
Peg, like, I think,
eating it
loved
up. She
Can we bring the
was
dummy?
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Can we bring the dummy into the room?
Yeah,
Can we please?
can we have all a threesome?
A threesome?
United
watch.
forever. Actually, I want to turn with the puppet.
Actually,
Quark, you watch.
you can go. Go get a glass of water or something.
Take a break.
Take a break.
Take a breather.
Come here, fats.
Ugh.
Why do they call you fats?
Also, why fats?
Probably because we haven't seen what's down below.
Amano. Oh boy.
Wow.
But yeah,
Fun.
Wow.
Cool. Magic.
magic, everybody.
Magic.
Please go and watch it.
Please.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Magic.
Yeah, I mean,
Magic.
like I said before, and I'll say it again, I'm encouraging everyone to go and watch every movie that
Yes.
we review and that we pull, and movies in general, because movies are great. But
I am so interested in what people have to say about this film.
exactly,
Yeah.
I think this is one that shout out to my mom, Brandy, who actually suggested this movie to me, and that's why I put it in the bucket.
Pew pew.
Good one. You should go watch it again, Brandy. I'm sure you
Yeah.
haven't seen it in a while.
I wonder what you have to say about it now, Brandy.
Leave it in the comments if you can figure out how to use YouTube. But let's get to these Smash Pumpkins.
Let's smash them.
Smash 'em.
Pow.
What are you thinking, Leslie?
I am going to give it this high of a score because Anthony Hopkins carried the film. And some of the edits and writing with him in it and the puppet were I think one of the best elements in this film. And the coloration of it, we've talked about it, gorgeous reds, absolutely. And they know it. They fill
They know
the
it.
screen with reds.
Mhm.
And it's so pleasing. And I think the overall concept that we are playing with, not trying to be harmful to anybody. I just want to state that out there and just, mental illness isn't a joke or it shouldn't be played to be this, but we are left open. The question's open
Yeah,
of like
it's-
what's going on, and I really like that, and I think that makes a very compelling storytelling, especially in something like this. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. 3.5.
Nice. Very cool.
And you know which scenes I didn't like, and that is why it's a 3.5.
We talked about the scenes we didn't like for sure. And that's what we do here, and that's okay. Because we
Yeah.
gotta pick apart the good, and we found a lot of good in this
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
I really felt like at the end I was very, very happy with this film and how it unfolded, and with the performance, and with the killer, with the evil doll, and how that was presented, and it didn't feel overdone with the doll at all.
Mm-hmm.
And those things that we talked about that we didn't like before, it is what it is. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. But what the movie's talking about and how they present it, I think, is the strongest points.
Mhm.
So before you said it, I was also going to give it a 3.5.
Whatever. No, you
I
weren't.
swear to God. I swear to God. 3.5.
3.5.
3.5. I got to
We-
write it down first.
You know what?
Before you say it. And that way I prove that I was thinking that.
We should just make a movie. I'm gonna say this now,
Let's make a
but
movie.
I really like the scene that we like essentially wrote for this movie, and
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's make it.
I just keep writing that off of
Let's
that
make
scene.
the ending,
Yeah.
and then work our way up.
Work the way
Has-
backwards.
Yeah.
And I will tell you one thing. My film will not end with a freeze frame.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
No, what it's gonna do is have us have that scene carry it out of the.
The doll. Bye. And then
Okay,
she
y'all
comes
better
in.
not take this. Edit this out.
Yeah.
Or if you choose to
keeping this.
keeping it.
I'm bleeping all of our words
Oh,
right now.
Beep. Beep beep.
All right.
Anyways,
Wow,
yeah.
magic. 1978. thank you very much for that.
Thank you for
that
joining
bit
us.
Of magic.
A little bit of magic.
Let's see what we will be watching next week, huh?
Is
Pull
it
it
my
out.
turn?
I believe it is because I pulled out magic.
You did pull out magic.
Pretty sure.
Let's see. Whoa, this is full.
Oh yeah. By the way, I added probably like 50 more.
Oh my
because
god.
2022
We're gonna keep doing this forever.
2022 was a big year for horror.
I know.
And I didn't have time before we got into season 2 to update it from a lot of movies from 2022. So we got Bodies in there.
Bodies.
We got Smile. We got
Smile.
The Cellar, a couple movies that I had never heard of, but were kind of on the radar for 2022 horror films. So
I'm so very excited that we are no longer waiting for Halloween.
No way.
Or
baby.
that period around.
This isn't a Halloween podcast.
No. This is a year-round thing, baby. And I'm very happy people are realizing that.
Yeah, this is your weekly dose of horror.
Absolutely.
Not just
so
1 month.
what are we gonna watch
Let's hear
next
it.
time?
Let's hear it. Wow, big one.
I'm covering it and I'm not seeing it myself.
There's a huge explanation.
I
Oh my
know. I was gonna grab the bigger one, but I didn't because I was right on the top.
God. Okay, here we go.
So I went in the middle. A woman discovers the newly resurrected, partially formed body of her brother-in-law. She stalks, killing for him to revitalize his body so he can escape the demonic beings that are pursuing him after he escaped their sadistic underworld.
Wait a second.
Excuse me?
I know exactly what this is.
What is it?
And I fucking love this movie. I've been waiting for us to pull this movie. We're gonna watch Hellraiser.
Yay!
Yes!
Woo!
Hellraiser!
I'm excited!
We're getting some pinhead.
As soon as I saw 1987, I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yes. Finally, I've been waiting for this
Written
one.
and directed by Cleve Baker.
Clive Barker.
Clive.
Cleve.
Cleve. Olive. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Olive.
Fuck yes. We're watching Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Cool. Fun stuff.
Nice.
We're getting some classics
I
in this
know.
season so far. Silence of the Lambs. This one.
I
geez.
am
Heavy
so
hitters.
excited we're seeing this because I've always wanted to dress up as Hellraiser.
Mhm.
But the only image I have is what's like that classic piece of him just coming onto the screen with all his pins. That's the only scene that I remember seeing. And it might have just been a fucking
Like a trailer.
commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
'Cause-
you've never really seen this
No,
movie.
but Mexicans love it. They love it. At least I remember growing up seeing it on like reruns. Yeah,
Wow.
in Mexico.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. I'm excited. We're gonna have
Yeet,
a fun
yeet,
time
yeet.
with Hellraiser. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's
All
get
right,
out of here,
Let's
huh?
get out of here.
Woo.
You know where to find me. Color me Leslie.
And me at Beep Beep Richie T.
Ooh,
Us at the Deadlights Pod.
the Deadlights.
And check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we're recording this from.
PGS, baby.
But until next time.
Let's get spooky. Wow.